It's interesting. You said like self-service is a low-hanging fruit. When it comes to AI, I almost get a sense that it's the other way. Like customers are
Okay.
mortified to put a chatbot or an AI that is public facing or customer facing or partner facing because they're like, hey, I don't know if this is trained enough. Like there's not enough trust in the whole AI is going to open and close tickets for me type stuff. There is a bit of a get my feet wet because some of the customers that I am working with and we have in the past, what I'm finding is they find it a lot easier to do stuff internally first, right? Do it for my sales rep or my internal support rep. Because if this thing is not up to the mark, it's still my internal audience versus me getting my
No,
published on New York Times because the chatbot.
no, that's a refreshing thought. When I say that low hanging fruit, see, logically, people gravitate towards support as the first area of automation. So they say, hey, there's huge volumes of tickets, there's things we can automate, we can provide self service advanced capabilities that they can solve their own problems. And so that automation looks, so you're right, the liability part of getting something wrong or the fear of putting a public facing thing, that is real. I wouldn't dispute that. But where I said low hanging fruit is logically people gravitate towards support as the first area of opportunity. Whereas you're right, it should be perhaps the other way around, where you're minimizing your risk on the internal parts, right? Where if something goes wrong, it's still contained, for lack of a better word, it's localized to your area and it's not going out in the public domain, right? So I get that, but the world, the first conversation everybody ends up having is around customer support, which is funny, right? Because people see, hey, that's where call center, contact center, how do we reduce? Do we need 200 people now? We need 50 people to do this work, as an example. So there's a real saving there, not just the automation is able to reduce the number of people you need. Deflection of cases and tickets happen in a significant way where you can reduce the number of people required, right? So they see the value of quickly pulling the trigger there, but the risk part that you've talked about is also equally real, right? So it's a balancing act. And I say low hanging fruit because that's where the conversation inevitably ends up going is, hey, can we tackle support? And it's an interesting sort of situation, right? There is a real problem of launching something in the public domain and getting it wrong.